Way 51 within 2 weeks of winning. Our office hours are weekdays from 8 till 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Employees of WHOW, WEZC, and their families are not allowed to participate in our contest. Thanks for participating and for listening to WHOW and WEZC.
Surf Pro of Piatt, DeWitt counties are your fire, storm, and water restoration specialists. Find out how they can help you by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. It's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Wednesday. From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. A series of proposed ordinance changes in the City of Clinton Code Book filled the council chambers with residents Tuesday, ready to share their thoughts on the issue. Prior to public comment period, Helen Michelossi clarified several portions of the proposed ordinances that were recently amended over concerns noted by the community. The first was in regard to feeding feral animals.
These are for sections 4.1, 4.5, and 4.8 in the said ordinance. And I'm going to read the revised parts of these so we're all on the same page, because I think a lot of folks had some concerns and are here to share some comments with us. So I'm going to read some revised parts of those. Concerning 4.1, the enumeration of nuisances, I'm going to read the entire section, and you will notice, if you read the first one, the first copy, you will notice what has been added, okay? The feeding of any mammal, including but not limited to feral cats, by any means, including hand feeding or placing or setting food out to be left unattended or attended, which creates or has a potential to create a hazard to public health safety, is hereby declared to be a public nuisance and to be unlawful. If any person places or sets out food that is in fact consumed by a wild mammal, that person will be presumed to have fed a wild mammal. The addition to this part of the section is as follows. Individuals acting on behalf of a recognized and approved TNR, trap, neuter, release program may be exempt from the feeding of feral cats for the purpose of carrying out the TNR program's mission.
Another ordinance revision regarding trees on properties, the mayor called a miscommunication and notes much of it mirrors legislation from the state of Illinois.
4.5 was in relation to trees, which we had quite, I think, a miscommunication on that for what the ordinance was actually the intent of that ordinance. So I'm going to clarify that. The original one had 2 paragraphs. For the sake of this revision, the first paragraph has been removed, and that mainly indicated what would happen on an individual's personal property, ownership of that property. Paragraph 2 shall now read as follows. Any person who shall hereafter plant or cause to be planted any tree or trees of the species mentioned in this section on any boulevard or City of Clinton property shall be in violation of this chapter. And there were, as you folks know, probably, there are 14 trees listed in there. By the way, this list has been around for a long time and actually mirrors, I believe, the one from the state of Illinois. A large part of that list is from the state of Illinois.
There was also confusion regarding whether the ordinances were going to be voted on at Tuesday's meeting, to which the mayor said they were not going to be voted on, despite a recent filing of the ordinances suggesting they would be.
The ordinance that they're looking at,
is
that the ordinance that was put on file roughly 7 days ago?
Seth, I don't know what one they're looking at.
The one that you're reading, you struck off the whole paragraph.
Uh-huh,
when it was fully discussed.
right.
That was the rough draft. that we
Yes,
got.
that was the rough
That was the
draft.
rough draft.
This,
Put something on file 7 days ago to be voted on tonight. That's what was stated last
2 weeks
week.
ago, we're gonna move to 7
Now
days.
you're amending.
this wasn't put on file.
You're changing it. So how could you put something on file 7 days ago that you're gonna vote on tonight when you're?
We're not voting on this tonight, just to be clear, first of all.
No.
We're not.
The agenda says discussion.
Put on file to vote for, or 2 weeks ago it was put on file to vote tonight.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
That was discussed during the meeting. In the meantime, and on the agenda, it says discussion on ordinance reworking 4-1 of the city code. Nothing is on file.
Commissioner John Weiss addressed some of the developments of the recent days and some social media chatter. He stresses changes were meant to be discussed. There was never any intent to vote on the proposed changes Tuesday.
I'm really glad to see all of you here because this is what brings out the public. We had an ordinance revision that we were working on. We have been working for the last 2 years, basically, on the request of the public. We've had a lot of people that's brought up a lot of things about our public code, our ordinances, things that are outdated, things that need to not be gray, but black and white. We have a city's attorney that tries to do the best he can. We give him a marching order. We tell him to come up with new ordinances that would cover all of the things that we have. He goes out and looks at other cities, other towns, places that he works. He brings us a rough draft. And that's what happened with this. This was never intended to be voted on tonight. It was never intended. It was put on the desk for the public to see, to do just exactly what you did this evening. You get to look at it. You get to go through it just like we do. I had it of last meeting. That's when we all got copies. That's when we all got this draft. And it's just like the grammar teacher. If you're going to write an essay and you're going to do it, you got to get bibliography. You got to find out the background. You have to write a rough draft. You have to present it. You know, you're going to be re-editing. You're going to be doing the things that you need to. And that's how we normally do it.
Finally, upkeep has been a property upkeep, that is, has been a hot topic in recent months in Clinton. There was clarification provided regarding the fine structure for those citations.
So 4-8 was a penalty, and this goes with, and I may ask, I think Chief Flowers is in the back of the room here. In relation to 4-7, automobiles inoperable motor vehicles, is that what we're talking about for 4-8 for penalty, correct? With that amendment? Okay.
4.8, the penalty
Mhm.
applies to all under chapter 4 of the nuisance.
Okay,
To all of them.
Okay.
Otherwise,
okay, Okay.
Chapter 4:1.
thank you. If a citation is issued, a fine of $100 shall apply for 30 days from the date of issuance. After 30 days from the date of issuance or upon initiation of court proceedings, a fine of no less than $250 and no greater than $750 shall be assessed upon conviction.
Some of Commissioner Weiss's comments were met with a bit of pushback as he described the process the council takes when passing ordinance changes.
The idea that we just throw it on file and we just cram it through as fast as we can, it goes on file and sets up here for public inspection. It's our budgets, it's our other ordinances and that. We put it on file so you can come up, get a copy, look at it.
Did you put it on file at a meeting?
Well, that was a mistake. I don't know
Okay,
how
thank
that
you. I
got
just
thrown.
wanna put-
That I will tell you flat out, that was a mistake that we said file. It should have been for the council to look at and the public look at.
For review, Tom.
For
Yes.
review. That's what
Yeah.
should have been. And it was a mistake in how it was worded. And I'll take that. If that's what you want, I'll take that because I didn't even realize that we were talking about. But any other thing that we do, it sits there for 2 weeks for all the public to look at. We have a public hearing. People come in on the budget. They got any opportunity they want to tell us about the things that they don't like or they do like. If they've got a question with the budget, they can ask any of us, Clint and that. But this was just a total, it just got way out of hand because it should not have been said file and shouldn't have been that we're going to vote on it tonight because that never was the intent. He did the best he could at looking up ordinances he was asked to look at, but I can even go back to Seth. Seth asked us a lot of things and came up with a lot of different things that with ordinances and with the code. And we've been working on that. We've even changed quite a few because of those questions.
Public comment highlighted support for the trap, neuter, and release program through Second Chance for Pets, while also noting the support for things like the number of vehicles on a property and issues regarding the use of chalk in a graffiti ordinance. During April's DeWitt County Land Use Committee meeting, the committee discussed wind ordinances that failed to pass through the Zoning Board of Appeals. At May's meeting, Committee Chair Buck Carter indicated that after being revisited by the ZBA, the wind ordinances have passed, but not without having sections of them changed or removed. The ordinances also have been reviewed by State's Attorney Dan Markwell.
Last month we brought up about the wind towers.
We've got the chapter 153 ordinance that came out of CBA.
Yeah, what do I say?
Is that next item?
Yes, next
okay.
item. Okay. The wind ordinance. Yeah.
I did meet with Mr. Marco and got his feedback on a couple of minor adjustments. So I'll get the feedback collected and date sent out, and hopefully next Thursday then we've got the ZBA's recommendation plus any proposed amendments.
The ZBA did not move on the curtailment piece of the ordinance, but Carter plans to propose an amendment at the full board meeting to reinstate it this week. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones.